And it's Autograders with Sam, Paul, and Joseph. So, so you're Paul. You're playing with this. Did you say something about setting up some other micro instances on something?
Oh yeah, I've just been beating up, tearing down. Because when you do these installs, you don't know what you've changed on the host.
No, I know what you're saying.
So
Totally.
I have to keep wiping them out, and so I'm running on AWS right now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could be just as easily doing that on Vagrant.
I think there's a difference.
Yeah, I mean, I think there probably is, but
Yeah,
I mean, in terms of like the turnaround time, I mean, at least if one got it working on Vagrant first, you might be able to do that faster, and then there might be a chance that it would work on EC2. The advantage
right,
of doing that on Vagrant is that would also be, that's our onboarding for new
right.
people wanting to get to do
That's.
developing.
I thought I had it at one point, and I did a whole bunch on Vagrant too. I
Yeah.
probably didn't.
Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, what I will say is that maybe what we should do is in the first instance we should focus on the homework 2
Sure.
grader, and
Oh,
if we can get that done, then we can move on
Go
to
to
look at other things.
manual install.
oh, okay. So the
Okay.
homework too.
Yeah. So this is what the situation that we're in. So we've got. Where let me find it. Let me share my screen. Screen share and screen share on. Lemon. Now somewhere where I had it here. Right. So I have we've got a running grader. That's the production grader at the moment. I guess now, Paul, you had already done. Did you run through? You'd run through on the production grader, submitting all of the different
Yep.
possible things that could be submitted. You
Production
amazing,
staging.
amazing stud. You goodness, that's
I mean,
just
there's only 6 of them, and all you have to do is click OK.
yeah. But like you've got to be like alert and things. I find alertness very challenging recently. But uh, let's see. Okay, so what we've got here. So yeah, and this is the thing. I hate this about homework too now that Armando he bashed it all into one. He bashed it all into one thing. There's like one. Basically, it's like you've got this multi-part assignment, and then you go and like you only get your feedback from the grader at the very end,
Hmm.
and it's just like, oh, what a pain. Or I think that the students need the feedback loop much earlier, but I don't think we're in a position necessarily to address that issue this time around. So basically, it works there. I guess that may be my old cached thing. But so if we go and have a look at the homeworks, and we've got homework 2, which is Rails
Yeah,
intro.
I just was submitting the solution and the skeleton,
Right.
and neither of them probably are updated to 3.2.16, like you were saying.
Yeah, and of course the grader works, as we know, by hitting a Heroku instance. So in some way, so anyway, let us refresh our memories. Um, let us refresh memories by going to source book homework. So we have a number of pull requests related to homework 2, do we not?
Oui.
And so specifically, we've got.
I think we might have. Let's see. One of mine includes olive roses.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if memory serves,
42, I think, or 45.
yeah, 42 there, and 45 non-existing, 42. Okay, so if we pulled in this one, that would.
Yeah, I mean, definitely have a look at it because it does some other things too. Like the application RB. Uh,
Yeah. Well, this is a good job for the staging server to the extent that we've got something that superficially work. I mean, I guess actually one of the things that maybe so how many different things to try in one go. So that seems to work against Armando's old hanging around what's it. But I guess in order to really properly test this, I mean, when you're saying you tested, you deployed the skeleton and to see what response we got, or
I submitted the skeleton because
Uh,
as a negative test along with the positive test of.
sure, right. But the test as it stands works against a Heroku instance. So when you say you submitted the skeleton, it means you deployed the skeleton to Heroku and then submitted the URL for that.
No.
Right, because I mean
Um,
we've got a number of different things. Because of course you were working on an alternate version of this grader that
right.
would accept the code as a submission. But the one
Right.
that we've got,
I just got the tar file, or it was a zip file, and I changed it into a tar GZ file and submitted it.
right, to your grader.
Nope, straight here. I mean, as in edX, that's how I tested edX. As far as this thing,
Well, I'm barking up completely the wrong tree, but it seems to me that you can't, through this interface for homework 2, Rails intro, you can't submit
oh,
a
there is no skeleton download. That's right. I'm thinking of a different homework.
right, okay. Um, so I guess,
Yeah, I had the local host thing and running the server locally, and it's
yeah,
passing. And
so you were working on all that. I mean, I think so. This has got these things. I mean, the things that actually that Rose had put in. I mean, she's got 3 of these here.
those are like,
Um,
yeah, lockdown Ruby.
Yeah, but I think the things that she actually changes here. Okay, so this is in the skeleton that we potentially distribute to the students.
That was the
Right.
idea. Yeah.
Right. That one there. In fact, are they all? They're all in the skeleton. Right. So what we critically want to look at here is the homework walkthrough and what it talks about distributing to the students. Because what we did for homework 1 last week was we updated it so that it was going from a GitHub repo rather than from a zip file. So, were you saying that say that you'd done something to the zip file that they have here, or no? You think you're still talking about different homework, but
Wait, is this homework 2? Wait a second.
this is homework 2.
That's
It's
Rails
Rails
intro. I can't.
intro.
Yeah, let me do something on my screen here to be able to.
Um, but so
Rails intro. Okay, so there is a skeleton. Okay, I'm not crazy.
there is a skeleton, but you can't submit the skeleton
Right,
itself. I
right.
mean, you can deploy the skeleton to. So I think following on from this, like in order to address these issues of the skeleton and so on, I guess what's the order to do this in? Um, I guess in some ways, what I think we want, and maybe I'm just taking it all in the wrong direction, but anyway, what I think we want is, so we've got source book, and let's see, we don't have Rails intro. So what we do have now is Ruby calisthenics. So I think what we want, if we go and look at
Right. Which I mean, what's I don't know why we have that either, because it's a duplicate of what's in HW, right?
right, well, but do you remember why we created that?
No.
Oh, okay. The reason, or at least the hoped for method in my madness, and maybe it's just madness, I'm always willing to accept that it's just madness, is that the problem is if we are distributing a zip file to the students through the edX,
Right.
in this mechanism, right, then if we have to make updates to it, right, we have to get them to start using a different zip file, right, and we have to kind of go into edX and we have to say, look, here is the thing, and then we have to put it there, and basically we don't have any testing mechanism that loops in what's happening on edX. You know what I mean? Like the presence of this particular file and its contents.
Right.
And I have this general fear: is this updated? Is it in fact the correct zip file? Right? I would much rather that students always close as it was originally. This is a change that Armando made. I would much rather that students always started off grabbing their code there from a repo. Actually, I guess there's an argument to say that it should be on Bit. I mean, there's an argument to say that it should all be on Bitbucket because then they can, make private repos for their what have you.
I mean, you can definitely that would make it a lot more likely, but it's not hard to. Bitbucket will clone over your, whatever. So.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I think there's a level at which I think they're attempting to prevent students from cheating, as it were, in inverted commas, because I'm not sure that it even is cheating. But if somebody wants to look at the answer and find the answer first, I think that they will. And to a certain extent, good luck to them. I mean, I think it's a bit ridiculous to do this kind of arms race with people to say, right, we're going to try and develop these things and have them secret, and then you'll then solve them, and then that will be a demonstration of your coding prowess somehow. I think it's just.
I'm thinking there's going to be enough wrong answers out there that it's not worth wading through them.
Well, that's another very good point indeed. To come back to the reason that we want to have the skeleton in public is to allow the student to be that. We want that to be the. I've lost them now. We want that to be the one source that the students can refer to for the homework, right? And if we make a change to it and we push it, and we've got CI associated with it, then any changes that go to it, then we know it's sort of wrapped in as a CI, and anyway, that's the idea. But so what I would say is that in the HW repo, now that we have Ruby Calisthenics public portion in the public, we should remove the portion of homework that's got the public stuff in it, and have it pull in the public Ruby Calisthenics. Do you know what I mean?
Makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the idea. But so Rails intro.
Is that something you'd be thinking of for like next iteration, or I mean, is that a change you can make?
Go on. Well, sorry, what are we talking about?
Is that a change? I mean, getting rid of the skeletons, is that something that we're planning on doing?
Well, I think what I've do we have I mean, for the homework one that we released last week, we pointed all of the students to the Ruby Calisthenics URL. So that's a changeover that we've done now in terms of it's live on the ground, the facts on the ground, as they say.
Right.
So my plan each week going forward now is to put all of the public stuff for each homework back into the public, if you know what I mean. And in parallel, or at whatever point that we get around to it, or you have time to think about it, we would be adjusting the so at the moment the CI on, for example, Ruby Calisthenics. Like if we look at Ruby Calisthenics, what it does is it pulls in. It pulls in RAG. Where does it? Isn't there a pre? I guess this is all assuming that there's in RAG because we've got the install stuff, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So it installs RAG.
Yep.
Ideally, what we would have here is this is like we'd have a background step here that says, well, this is given I have homework in Ruby Calisthenics, and that's there. What it should do. We should also, this should, as well, it should check out the public repo for Ruby Calisthenics.
Right, rather than HW.
Rather than using the stuff in HW. And we should effectively delete this directory, this public directory here.
Well, we should end up deleting HW and replacing, moving the CI into each repo.
Maybe, although the problem is that we've got the
private part of the homework.
We've got the solutions. I mean, Armando still wants the more sophisticated specs. There's the skeleton specs and there's the normal specs. Armando still wants the normal specs or the main specs. That wants them to be private. Maybe I can convince him that they should be public or somewhere. I think I'm going to have much less effectiveness at convincing him that the solution should be public. Okay. I think there's, so something's going to be private, and we want to run the thing against it. So I think the CI still ultimately needs to be based in the private repo because it's going to need access to that, and it's much easier to have the CI in the private repo pulling in public repos than the other way around, right?
I think, don't we need, but then when someone submits to Ruby Calisthenics repo, then it's somehow going to have to kick off the HW repo Travis file?
Not necessarily. I mean, if someone makes a change to the Ruby Calisthenics public thing, we can have CI on there that just tests the skeleton specs, right?
Okay.
But the
But we're proliferating is my point, I guess.
well, we are. I mean, we're still in the case that if somebody submits something to the RAG repo, right? Right, and the public one, and it makes a change, we ideally need to run the entire homework repo as well, but we don't at the moment, do we? Do you know what I mean? Because
yeah.
Like currently the RAG repo is public,
Right.
yeah, and it has. Sorry, CI on. Hello. Hello. No, please never call this number again. Okay. Sorry about wrong number. Okay. The RAG repo is currently public, right? It has its own. It has its own. Hello.
Yep.
It has its own CI, right?
Sure does.
If we submit some change to the RAG grader, right? The CI runs to checks that it works. Yeah.
Yep.
But it doesn't test it against all of the homeworks, does it?
No, it does not.
Only some of them. So there's kind of a bit of a loophole there. By having Ruby Calisthenics outside, if somebody submits a change to the skeleton, then just that by itself does not necessarily kick off the entire CI on the homework repo. I mean, we kind of almost need a cron job, really, that will force the homework, the private homework repo to do that every day, just to make sure that things happen. I don't know if that's something we can look into, but anyway, I think the advantages of having the homeworks in their own repos outweighs some of the I think relatively minor disadvantages of having them all in one big one, if you know what I mean.
Okay. Yep.
And my objective would ultimately be to get rid of any I mean, I'm going for, in the long run, these things should be just out there in the public domain. You know what I mean? And then we can get rid of all this silly privacy business. Anyway, so what I was doing there was I was just going to create this Rails intro thing here for the Rails intro assignment. Like so. And then, so what I was going to look at is, for Rails intro, no, that's Ruby intro. Rails intro, in public, we don't have any specs. All we have is this framework here, don't we? This Rotten Potatoes app. So what I think we want to do there, you've just all gone quiet. It's like, he's crazy person, he's crazy, mad person, human the mad person. That's what you're thinking, isn't it? I notice you don't seek to deny it. You're just thinking crazy mad person.
I'm just having. I don't know what maybe I just need to expand my screen here.
Will it let me clone this yet? I don't think. If I just do touch, can I do? Do I have to do git init here? I guess I do git init. Okay. So, and what I think we want to do, what's that operation for copy recursively? Is it copy minus R?
It is. Capital R.
with a capital R. And then, so I want to go into their homework.
Public.
Actually, maybe it's not capital R. What am I thinking of? I don't know. I'll check it out.
Okay, so I think what we want is we want to copy the contents of that directory into this directory. See if that works. I don't know. That appears to have worked. Yeah. Okay. So here now I have in Rails intro, I have the public rotten potatoes. I'm just wondering whether we should do this or try this out crazily on Nitrous.io or do it from within the VM. But so if we then do git add dot, it seems interesting to me. I don't seem to have everything that. So I was looking at here. I was looking at a public. Okay, that stuff's on there, and it's got README, which we'll see if we pull that in or not. Okay, so git add, git push. Oh no, it's not doing anything. It's called commit. Git commit. So we've got skeleton for Rails intro. Git push. Okay. So that gives us. Maybe we can. Let's see. So that gives us like a Rails intro thing there, right? So then we could go to Nitrous.io and we could ask it for it to set up a workspace for us. That was a new box, name, Rails intro, and repo, create box. You do not have enough N2O to create this box. Okay. So I'm clearly stuck there. All right.
You have to delete another one or something? Is that?
I think maybe they only get one, but I only get one box for free, maybe.
Right.
So let's just do git clone. Why do I not have that on my ready to paste? Git clone. Okay. Rails intro.
I guess the other one we tried was coding. That has sudo access.
Yeah. I guess I'm in the time constraint state that I'm in. I'm tempted to
Yep.
do fewer things. But so anyway, so we've got in principle we're set up here to say to the students, we could say git clone like this. I think I worked out here it was git clone. What it needs to be is it needs to be pre code,
right,
and then code pre. Yeah, I don't know why. Does it come up with a? Anyway, that'll do for starters. I don't know why other ones come up with a little nice thing around them. Okay. But so if we look at what we're doing here. So here we're asking them to go into root and potatoes directory, which they don't need to do. So I'll just update this. Right. I guess sensibly we will move that and say switch the okay. So we've got something like clone this homework skeleton with the assignment skeleton. So you guys could be doing this in the background as well, but I guess we should, Rose would want to join us for this, but okay. Switch to the Rails intro directory. CD Rails intro. Did you paste this link into beta sources for? Uh, upgrading to. Okay.
Did you change it to Rails _ intro instead of Rails dash?
I think is it Rails hyphen intro in the
All the repos have hyphens in HW. I don't know if that's a tradition we need to continue.
right. Yeah, what did I do with Ruby Calisthenics? Okay. Can I rename the intro? Can I settings repository name? I can.
Wow, good for them.
Rename. All right. Let's have consistency. Okay. Good catch. And then it says I need to do bundle install. Okay. I guess if I copy, can I copy that and put it here and then just do? It's weird how it's different. It's weird. It's weird. It doesn't kind of come up with the same stuff. I don't know. Anyway, bundle install. Like so. The Ruby Racer. What is it for? Why do we need it? Why does it cause problems for us? We don't know. It's crazy. It's. I see Paul's doing that in the background. Awesome. Have you forked it already? Have you? Studley. Joseph, you could be doing the same thing as well if you wanted to follow
Yes.
along.
Okay.
Yeah, so bundle install. Now you can test that out. Now you need to. Okay, so this is the thing. Partly, like, we can remove all of this thing about commit. This is the thing. If it's already a Git repo, then we can get rid of that. So, and I think we've already got which Heroku. We should have Heroku installed. So,
Okay.
hopefully we can remove all of this. Right. Okay. Assuming you have the Heroku installed.
So it's on the repo is on the Sitebook Rails intro.
Yes.
I git clone it.
So,
Okay.
okay.
So Joseph, go ahead and fork it first, and then clone your own.
Oh yes, I can fork it to myself.
Right.
In order to deploy to
Right.
Heroku. But don't worry about forking or not. I mean, I think in some ways that I think many of the students, I won't be instructing the students to fork it.
Oh.
And so, I mean, I think some of them will.
So-
But yeah, either way. And Paul, if you fork it, and Joseph, if you don't, that's two different sort of tests of two alternative realities, which is good.
So not fork right now.
I don't. There's no requirement to fork it. I mean, you can do for later on if you want to push changes to it, but up to you.
You can always add your remote and switch later.
Okay, so here. Now, so assuming you have Odoo installed, so I guess if I follow these, I'm just going to follow the existing instructions with the existing thing and say, I mean, I've already got, the problem with this here is that I guess I've already got, I'm tempted almost, I guess the Cloud9, this is the problem, Cloud9 doesn't have Heroku installed. And even the thing is actually, on Cloud9 you could sidestep the whole Heroku install process, but I guess, so here, see, this is where, for me, what I really want to be doing is like doing a test for the students, that this is the sequence that they would do. I've already done this. So I sort of know that that works in principle. So I guess I'll have to do it on a different laptop or something. Might be the way to go. But so, assuming that that's worked, if I then did Heroku create here, it would just create one for me, and then we could deploy this to Heroku. And see what happens. And so that's working for me. Other people might see the warning. That seems okay. Okay. So this is effectively the old public code without any of the updates pulled in. So we've got here using Ruby version Ruby 2.0.0, which is not
5 apps already.
you hit 5 apps again.
Yeah. I'll delete them all.
Or just give them your credit card. I think my credit card on Heroku is expired actually, but it still doesn't let me deploy. I think that's going to be an issue here. Goodness me, the complex webs that we weave. I tell you what's not. I mean, I'm sort of doing this tutoring at Makers Academy now, and it's so nice to have everybody in the same room. And so, like on day one, actually, they had them deploying to Heroku, and I was kind of like, oh my god, like day one, like the first day, they're going to deploy to Heroku. But I was there, and I mean, they ran into all the issues that our students run into. But I was basically able. But I was by the side, and I said, like, we'll do this, and then do that, and I was able to fix all of their issues. It's okay, right? So we've got a failure here about SQLite. So that's the thing about, isn't it? That's about the PG not being in production, isn't it?
I wouldn't think that would make SQLite fail, but
no, but I think it's because it's trying to install. I mean, I've gone through this several. I mean, I think what it is.
Bundle install without production.
I don't think that.
But
maybe
half the people will not do it.
Bundle install runs locally. Bundle install without production will just not install your production gems locally, right? If we look here and we look at Rails intro, I think what we'll find in the gem file is that SQLite is there, right? It's raw. It should be in development and test, right? I think that's one of the key things, and I think
let's look at the gem file.
Yeah, this is the gem, right? Okay, I've got it up. See, yeah, I think that I've fixed this a number of times in the past. But do we have a pull request specifically for this? Is that one of the things? Like, I guess I'm just going to look back here and look at. So this was including those two there. Did I have here attribute accessible, prevent failure on Heroku assets precompile, lock version to 193. And so on. I mean, I guess at what speed to take this? I guess it seems to me. Have I got gedit running here? I have not.
I mean, we have gone through it before, so might as well jump in with both feet and then just do a quick test, make sure it works, and then.
Yeah, and then maybe back out. I think you're right, rather than doing it 8 times over. But so things that right. Clearly, it's what.
I mean, Ruby debug is gone. 3.2.
I mean, I've taken this from like this fact that this says here, like supply to Travis.
Yeah, I don't know how this got into.
Yeah. Like.
What are you looking at? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. I'm looking at basically. I'm looking at. I've got this Rails intro thing, which I've copied from the homework repo.
Okay.
Where
I've
gone basically I've grabbed the contents of this rotten potatoes, and if we look at the gem file here, so it looks like you added that at some point to make the Travis work.
Right. That's funny.
And so
I didn't mean for it to get onto the main
no,
vein.
no, I think that this had not yet gone out to anybody. So I think nobody heard there. But it's good that we caught that. I mean, that's interesting though that Travis has a problem, I guess, with the SQLite being in development and test. Maybe does it run its test? Surely it runs its bundle install in a test mode. But anyway, but so
Wow, it was
yeah,
6 months ago. Okay, I don't feel so bad.
and no, don't worry at all. So we've got that. I think the other things that we're saying that should be changed here to sort this out is that we want to have Ruby should be on 193, and I guess arguably Ruby should be on 193, like the latest edition with the bug fixes. I mean, or like
545 is
yeah,
a popular one.
P545.
Yeah.
Um,
And then we were also saying 3216.
isn't it 17?
I mean, I know.
What are we up to on the latest version of Rails?
Good question. I mean, I think
Yeah.
their default is 3215 on the VM.
Right.
And then I swear there's like a more recent version of that file.
3.2.16, I think.
Yeah.
In Rails.
Really? I thought we were up to 3.2.17. But I might be wrong. But okay. But I'm just looking at the different things. So we've got these there. Let's try. Let's try.
It looks like, yeah, 16, all right. Just
You
confirm
reckon?
it.
I know. I was going to try. If I just try bundle install with those right there. I mean, I guess I'm not going to do that because otherwise it's going to break for people on. So at least
Also,
193.
Ruby debug is obsolete, right?
Yeah. Do we still have that in there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It should be debugger. Really, I guess. And here, Rails depends on active 3 to 17. Okay. Should I run bundle update here?
I mean,
I
I
mean,
swear I would have sworn I've already done all this stuff, but
well, I think the thing is that it may not have got into the certain part. Well, I guess there's the other thing is that I've created the. I did just create my thing based off. If we go into here, no, but I did it from here. That was the Spring 2004 Git full origin master. I don't know that. I don't think there's any. Is there any?
oh yeah, if you look in the pull request,
Yeah. I mean, I think there's
40,
changes in the pull
42,
requests.
right?
The pull requests haven't been merged though.
Right,
That's
but I mean, that's what we're basically recapitulating everything that we've
yeah,
already done in the pull request.
well, that's right because the critical thing is that like I wanted to in the first instance create a Rails intro repo here that was the existing thing that we had that works in the current way that has the current errors that we know about, right?
Okay.
And so that's there. And now what I'm doing is on top of that, I'm saying right, let's obviously if I was in the same repo, I would be like pulling out a headless copy of like your changes or what have you.
At least to look at, yeah. But it's not too much different than what you already have now.
Yeah, I mean, I think I guess I want to see.
In fact, I had left Ruby debug in there. I took all the versions off of the gems in assets,
Uh-huh.
and that's it.
Okay. Do we even have movies there? We do. Break db migrate seed. Okay. So we have a working app locally, right? And we have so we have a modifier gem file like this. So we're now specifying the correct version of Ruby and
A
the
Rails
latest
version that doesn't exist.
You think?
Unless it just came out today or something, right?
I don't know. I thought I had heard that 3.2.17 was the latest one.
I just looked a couple places, but let me keep looking.
Look, 18th of February 2014.
Okay.
3.2.17.
Cool.
I mean, the interesting question is there a Rails 3.2.18? I mean, I guess what we should be. Look, 3.2.18 has been released.
Oh, yep. Look up 3219.
Yeah, 3.2.19. Because, like, sensibly, we're. Yeah, I'm not seeing 3.2.19.
Actually, maybe the Ruby Gems page for Ruby for ROR would have.
So I think sensibly we're. Can we do it? I don't know that it's a big deal, but I feel like it's due to like we should be on. Look, in particular, given that we're asking all of these students to deploy Rails to Heroku, right? We should not be locking Rails to an earlier version of Rails that has known security holes. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it's kind of like that's sort of slightly irresponsible, even though I think the actual risk is relatively small.
Well, yeah, you don't want to get people started with some comfy install and then have them stick with it, and that's all they ever learned of the Rails was the old stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it should be Rails 4, Ruby 2. It's
that's another story. Well, I mean, ideally it would be, and I think that the Armando's plan, I believe, is that he's going to next teach the course at Berkeley in starting in January 2015, and would be going to Rails 4. Whether we're along for that, I mean, the thing is for us, upgrading and testing all the code and everything is anyway in this. But yeah, we can say yes, the students should be on the very latest. But I think it's a different thing between the students should be on the very latest version of Rails. Well, there's bleeding edge, right? I mean, I missed the whole like Rails 2 because I just didn't want to deal with it, and there was a lot of it was a bumpy ride for some people, and I'm quite glad that I missed it, and I went straight from Rails 1 to Rails 3. I think there's but given that there is to say that we're not on the very, very latest version of Rails, there's an argument to say let's hold back and go with things that are stable and that we know that works and we know that also works with all the systems that we're using.
Well, when you install 193, they're like you're installing a version that's no longer supported.
I guess. Well, has 193? Well, 193 has had its last security release. But I think it's not that it's no longer supported. It's going to be because we went through this because 193. I think that there will potentially be security. There's something about it runs until January 2015.
Okay.
I believe that was the
life.
Yeah, I mean we definitely need to upgrade, but old stable 193 people. Oh, and I don't want to download it. Is there something about this? But it's kind of, yeah, I think when we get to January 2015, if we're still on 193, that's starting to look much less tenable.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think that 193 is like completely sunsetted yet, if you know what I mean. Anyway.
Right, yeah, they're just starting to have more and more warnings about it. And that's what RVM tells you is when you install 545.
Right. Yeah. So we're kind of at but anyway, we've got so now Git status. We've got a number of things there. I mean, so the other what I could do, partly it's also I want to double check that if we're making changes, it's because they're actually necessary to be made, rather than that they're just that they seem to be for some setup for some people. But so if we now git commit -am. So we've added. I've changed it that are not needed. This is like updating. Fixes to Ruby 1.9.3 and Rails 3.2.18. Git push Heroku master. Oh, and then also, didn't we change? Oh no, all right, and also we moved the. the PGGM as whatever, but I can't. There's probably some things that allow me to re-edit the commit message, but but the other two changes that we might be making are adjusting this for the security hole and prevent failure on Heroku pre-compilation. What else? So that was the stuff that Rose was saying.
Right.
What were you doing in here?
Let's see. The files I'm seeing is application.rb. Added a big block in there, and that's where I put the initialize on precompile false, including her change.
Sorry. Go on. What were you saying?
Just in application RB. Not only did I put initialize on precompile, but I put the other common things. One of them, configure active record whitelist attributes true.
Right.
If you don't have that in there, then none of the other,
attribute accessible stuff doesn't work.
Right.
And you removed Ruby Racer.
I did. I don't know if that's really possible if you're only doing it in an isolated way, but because of the machine dependency there.
Yeah, I don't know if we even. I see actually that 6 months ago, we don't even have any JavaScript. So anyway.
I mean, what I did basically for all of those pull requests was I updated everything, and
you did bundle updates, and it updated.
I tried to just use certain gems, but I did all the repos at the same time, so there wasn't this problem of installing the Ruby Racer on the machine.
Mm-hmm.
When
you say all the repos, I'm not sure what we mean.
Oh, all the homeworks, because
you went through removing Ruby Racer from all of the different skeletons.
Right.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Yes. Well, we'll get to and check each of them in turn. It certainly seems like I don't know who it is. Who is dependent on Ruby? I mean, that's like I guess it's just
JavaScript runtime.
Yeah, right. But we have it for some reason. It's in our assets thing. I guess maybe at some point it was created by a Rails. I mean, in some ways it would be sensible to start again from Rails. I mean, this framework, this shell has kind of craft. From the point at which Armando first wrote Rails New Rotten Potatoes,
right.
It has that kind of framework. So if we did Rails New, it maybe would not necessarily have those assets. Anyway, I'm getting here. So this is the issue. But right now, so I mean, I can pull in this pull request, but then anyway. But I see here actually that subsequently you then with this pull request that I get to pull in, you had removed the GemSQL light there, and you'd gone to Ruby 193 and Rails 3.2.16.
Right. But on the other, I didn't get everything that you had there. So. That you had changed.
And this has been a while since this happened, and I think probably since you did it, other things gone. But let's do this thing here, which is in application.rb. But the Ruby Racer, that was causing problems with Travis, or what was it causing a problem with?
It was causing a problem with the installs of other. The other repos. Basically, you have to install certain things in a certain order.
Right. Okay, got you. Yeah. It was causing a problem for CI for us, not for people with the
the course necessarily.
As far as we know, I mean, none of these initial homeworks involve JavaScript, so in principle we can remove it, and it's not a big deal.
I think Rails might have some use for JavaScript. Runtime, right? But I was just hating, and you might even have Node actually installed if you have the VM from the course. I'm wondering if they already have a runtime installed, because it's just different development.
Well, just hold on that for a second. So we've got I'm just setting here whitelist attributes true. You've got enable escaping HTML and JSON. Is that something that we particularly need?
It's not something that I'd seen anybody in the course encounter.
No.
But it's in the default when you create a new app.
Oh, okay.
It's supplied in the application RB as the default.
Okay, and I notice here that, so this is me looking. Can I make that smaller? So there's in the current app framework here, we don't seem to have any particular mention of the precompile. Well, here we go. So, okay, maximize.
Yeah, unfortunately, whoever modified this, they just deleted the thing instead of commenting it out.
Yeah,
So
or if it was even there. So there's kind of like, arguably, we need this, and we just don't. There's this config assets enabled, right? And prevent failure on Heroku assets precompile. So that's what this needs to be.
And sometimes these are different. The application RB that I did was generated with Rails 3.2.16.
Okay.
And that may not be the case if you generate one for 3.2.18.
Okay. But so in principle, I guess this thing that we've got here in application.rb doesn't need to be in application.rb so much as it needs to be in the production environment, right?
Well, I think the students should have it.
Well, I mean the production environment. I mean the function environment Rails, because it's not necessarily the case that they. The reason for having this here is like for Heroku, right? But Heroku will run with the production RB and .rb file, right? So it could be specified in here.
Okay. Yeah.
But,
it's generated automatically. Again,
I see. Yeah. I mean, I think sensibly. In some ways, it would be like we do now like a Rails new 3.2.18, and we were doing a walkthrough of the chapter 4 and got it up to the state that it needs to be in for the start of the homework. But I think we don't have the in Japanese they say you to do that, which is free time to do it. Oops, I didn't want to do that. What did I just do? Yeah. Okay. So there git commit -am. So this is updating application, updates application.rb to allow whitelisting of attributes and
well, and then we'd also have to change and actually add the whitelist to the model.
Do we?
Yeah, because otherwise we're turning on the security and then we're not handling it.
Right, and I mean, I guess there's an interesting question here is that like.
Yeah, this will. If you turn on the security and don't provide the whitelist of attributes, people are just going to have to learn about that and then go and put that. And then even in this case, when they add a field to the model, they're going to have to add that to the whitelist as well. So at some point, if we get into this thing with, I mean,
the thing is, it seems to me, is like, while this is kind of, why did this cause a problem on the Chapter 4 walkthrough? Is it because this was set to true initially? Is this what it is set to by default when we create a new Rails instance?
If you do Rails new project.
Right.
Yep. And then someone, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, go on.
But it just wasn't in there,
No, sure, because it's like I say, it's the old creation of something. I guess what it makes me think is
just do a quick Rails new. Take a look at it.
Yeah, but also like, I mean, Rose was talking about I want terminal that will have a new tab, open tab, right? It's like right. So we've got Rails, and so if we did Rails new test Rails or test, is that like that whitelisting of attributes, right? Is to avoid a situation where somebody's logging in and they can turn themselves into an administrator, right?
I mean, maybe ultimately that would, you'd probably have to know what you were doing.
Right, but that would be the security hole that it's blocking, right? But in the case for us where this is like a rotten potatoes thing, there's actually no, who cares if somebody, adds, is able to insert a different director for one of the movies?
Yeah, we were just trying to stick with, the established Rails practices for security.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, there's kind of like yeah, I can see there's an argument here that like one removes that security. There's different levels of security practices, right? I mean, there's like if we're on the 3.2.17, right, and it's got a security hole that allows people to take over the entire app and deploy their own code and what have you, then it's like, yeah, right, you know, we really have to upgrade to 3.2.18. But if it's like that, we've got this. Okay, so there's this whitelisting thing, and you know that is a security flaw in terms of allowing people to script their own things and allows them to create like users who are admins. But if as in this case, where just through there are no other attributes that you know, do you know what I'm saying? It's not a security flaw for this toy app in this context.
Oh,
you know
no,
I mean?
you could remove all the security, no problem.
Well, we could in particular though we could remove this whitelisting thing because although we want to teach talks. I mean, this is from a pedagogical point of view. We can say that if it's one extra thing that they get stuck on when they're trying to understand about how to add an extra field, you know, an extra attribute to the movie class, then you can argue from a pedagogical point of view, like let's keep that off and then introduce that to them later on, rather than having them get stuck on it when they're in the middle of doing a homework that's not specifically about the security features. Do you know what I mean?
Right. If you whitelist all the attributes, they'll only encounter this thing when they do the one where they're adding an attribute to the model.
Right.
That's the only time they would have to experience whitelist,
Right.
and then they would just have to add one to an existing list.
Sure, right, but it's a point where they get stopped. Whereas if we had this set to false, they'd never have to worry about that at all for the duration of this homework.
I believe that may be true.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to, let's have a look at the test project config application.rb here. Yes, so it has the asset pipeline is enabled by default and whitelists are right. Okay. Yes, so I mean, it's certainly an issue that this is because the Rails. So I think it's the reason in some ways that this is an issue for the Chapter 4 Rails walkthrough is because the students actually have to type Rails new, right? And they're on more recent version than Armando originally created on, so it's generating this by default.
Right.
So they have to cope with it as a result of the walkthrough. Yeah, interesting.
I think all the Rails, you know, the Rotten Potatoes was originally with 310. That's the lowest number I've seen.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is, like, I guess the point that I'm making here about going
Yeah,
to
I mean, I understand. Yeah, you don't want to deal with 10,000 people emailing you saying, "What the heck is going on?"
Yeah, although that's sort of inevitable, really. I think, given that we're using Heroku and Rails, it's gonna happen. Maybe I'm fighting a losing battle. It also seems to me that rather than setting this to false generally, one could just set this to true in the production.rb and not in and leave it as true in application.rb and override it, as it were, in production.rb.
I know nothing about Rails, I guess.
Well, I think what happens is the application. I may be wrong. I think the application.rb. I mean, there is like a general config for the app, and then you've got additional configs that are then subsequently applied in environments. I guess depending on the order they run.
So yeah,
maybe
production.
But I guess what I'm tempted to do. Well, I think. Yeah, let's leave them with best practices there. I guess. I mean, the textbook does explain about the attribute accessor, and it also has the attribute accessor thing in there. So that leaves me tempted to add that. And it's at least with this one, it's the kind of thing that I think that's it's sold in a relatively straightforward fashion on the mailing list. Whereas the Heroku deployments, it's so difficult for them to see the error messages. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is probably the lesser of two evils. Oh, I'm in the test project now. Rails intro, app, models, movie.rb, like so. Okay. So I think let's test project. So this is now. This is adding attributes, adds attribute accessible to what does it do? Adds actually accessible to movie
movie model,
model, and whitelist is set to true in application.rb for default security level, and asset precompile adjusted to allow Heroku deploy. Git push Heroku master.
Unfortunately, yeah, I'm gonna have like another hour today, and then I'm gonna be out of commission for a while.
Okay. Well, hopefully, if we get this. Oh, yeah. Did you have your operation, or you're having your operation? Or?
Today, yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, good luck with that. And
Thanks.
so, yeah, you may be laid up for a week or so.
Yeah, I mean, I've been out of action, but it's they're gonna knock me out and drug me up and stuff. So.
Okay.
So
Sure.
I don't expect to get too much done.
No.
Not that I ever do.
But you get huge amounts done. I'm very impressed. But I mean, you'll be off for a couple of days rather than for.
At least I just don't think I'm going to do anything for the rest of today after that. So
Sure, yeah, no, I would assume absolutely. But I mean, more like next week. I might see you by next.
Oh no. Oh well, I mean that's maybe realistic because it's coming up to the weekend pretty soon, right?
Yeah. You should definitely take a break. But anyway, so if we're lucky that this deploys, and then in principle that's well, then I test it, and then I want to submit it to the repo. I mean, I guess, yeah. But if you've got another hour, what you could do is take this base and implement the solution and deploy the solution to Rails, and then check that one works. I guess it should be okay. Okay, so that's actually deployed there. I can do Heroku open now, can I?
Or you can click on it too.
But I can, but I think I also want to do, what do I want to do? Heroku, run, rake, db create. No, migrate, isn't it?
Migrate. Yeah. Well, do create, and except if it's PG.
I think migrate will force create if it hasn't happened already. And I mean, we've got these deprecation warnings, which would be which are obviously confusing for students, but
in vendor, which is I don't know when we vendored anything.
I mean, I think sensibly this would be created from I mean, it's in some ways, for the like, to be honest with the frameworks, it's like move to it's like for the number of changes that one might make. I mean, I think to me,
I don't think there's actually anything in there. I think it's just an empty directory.
Oh, that's weird. That's weird.
Let me confirm that. I'm just going from memory.
I think that I don't know about for you, but for me, I'm not sure that I think that that this is necessarily a great. I don't know. Armando has obviously created like a fantastic. And so he's created a simple app. It doesn't let me do it for. Look at that date. It only goes back to 2009. What the hell is that? Okay. So various things are. There's a new one coming out next year, isn't there? Something. I don't know why the date is restricted to being that small amount, but anyway. But so that certainly looks like we can deploy and have that. And so that I guess that. Of course, the other thing that I would love to have done is get it set up so that you could just deploy these things directly rather than having to put them into a sodding text file.
Text. Yeah. I mean, we kind of have that. Hate to say it.
In what sense? I hate to say what.
I mean, you can, if you want to pull in another pull request, there's something that will do that.
That will on edX, because what I'm talking about here, maybe we're talking cross purposes, but I'm talking about how on edX I have to save this into a file.
Right.
And,
yeah. You can submit it an archive.
Right. Okay. But I was like, so yeah. So the no, absolutely. There's the archive thing, which is another thing. What I mean by this is there's a step in between where rather than having to create a text file, right? We adjust the edX interface so
Oh,
that
to take the text itself. Yeah.
you just give it the text itself, and you don't have to upload a file, which seems kind of ridiculous to me. And I think it is possible to do, and it just it needs a focused period of checking. It's the kind of thing like the choices like here. I think I had an hour. We focused on upgrading to the right version of Rails, making sure that it ran on the same version of Ruby, and did these things rather than spending an hour on adjusting this to be a text entry. But I don't know. Well, I think the problem with it. I think the text entry box works. The problem is we'd have to completely adjust the Ruby Autograder is entirely designed around receiving a link to a file rather than raw text. So that's a much bigger refactoring of the grader than this, that, and the other. But yeah, okay.
And do you want to? I mean, you're not even thinking about the taking an archive.
Yeah, I'd love to have that. Given that this homework has to be released on Sunday,
Yeah.
I don't know that we can get that in before then, particularly if you're going to be out of action.
Yeah. I mean, I can definitely. I mean, I could probably. It's already there basically, and we would just have to run through it and make sure.
Yeah, I mean,
What would be really, I would really like is even if we couldn't necessarily get people to use that, it would be nice if we could somehow leverage all that numbers of people to test it out so that there'd be some confidence there,
Yeah, well, you could very easily add an additional test submission here for Homework 2 archive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And test it and get it running on at least develop.
Right.
And that would be, and then we could possibly add it as a beta thing. Even after the fact, we could say, oh, by the way, having trouble with the hierarchy deploy, get an intermediate grade on our archive grader. Yeah, totally. Yes. I would love to have that. Okay, so that looks like, So that looks like that did what we sort of expected it would do. Is that this is, I submitted the skeleton to production. We got 3 out of 100 for submitting the skeleton.
Perfect, that's it.
Yeah, so I guess in that regards, so I kind of need to do git push origin master for those changes. And then so in principle, I mean, what you could both do now for me is kind of confirm that this should now be updated here. So you could both see if you can do a skeleton deploy to and check it on the grader, and then if you've got taste for more, you could even throw in actual bits of the homework and check that they worked based on this. Because the danger now, the thing that will keep me awake at night, is that there's some sort of change that we've made in some part of this that will prevent part of the homework working. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, then we should submit the solution.
Right, but the problem is that the solution is based upon a different shell, right? So the solution now needs to be updated to include the changes that we've made here.
Oh,
and even then, if we were submitting the solution, right, we don't know that there isn't some particular spiky bit that someone will encounter in their transition as they go through from the skeleton trying to turn it into the solution.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
we should try to make the solution.
Well, that's the only acid test for that. I mean, I haven't removed the Ruby Racer from there.
Right.
And maybe I should. Should I?
I mean, might as well, and we'll check it out, and then. Or
yeah, I guess
what happens if you resubmit? It should be fine. All right. If you take that out.
Yeah. Well, I can see if I can. I think the interesting thing in particular is if we look at the test project. Yeah, it doesn't have Ruby Racer in it.
Right.
So, yeah, let's just, if we go to Ruby Rails and we go and look at the gem file, like it looks like the assets used to have the Ruby Racer. Oh, it would be so good to just rebuild it from 3.2.18, wouldn't it? Look, the assets here has got a totally different everything. Oh, look at this. They've got Ruby Racer and it's now commented out by default.
Yep.
Sauce Rails, Coffee Rails, Ographer, Sauce Rails. Okay, it's the same things. Oh, look, and look, they've got it locked to particular values as well. This would clearly all be much more secure, right? Okay, but it certainly seems like we can do ourselves a favor by commenting out the Ruby Racer.
Yay! That thing
Like,
is such a pain in the butt.
Right, and certainly we should do that as well, right?
Right.
So I should do bundle will bundle install there. Will that automatically remove those from gem file lock?
You can always do bundle clean -- force and then bundle install.
Although looking here, I don't see the Ruby Racer anymore in the.
Okay, there you go.
I think bundle install has done that, and
Good deal.
we should see native records. I don't see debugger or rdebug. Oh, sorry, that's a test project. Yeah. Okay. No, Ruby Racer is not there. I see debugger. Yeah. Okay. That looks okay. Git status.
You were looking under the Ruby Racer, right?
Oops. I was not, but I have now, and it looks like it's okay.
Indeed not. Yeah.
It's not there. So so git commit -am removing Ruby Racer and replacing Ruby debug with debugger. Git push Heroku master. Oh my goodness. That's it. It's like, you know, Rails. Spend half an hour building a blog, and then the rest of your life upgrading to the latest version of Rails.
It's just the quote from right out of the book. I realize I'm going to spend the rest of my life maintaining the software I already wrote.
Right, right. Oh well, this is like so. This is what I, you know, like many of the guys in Agile Ventures, they're so keen to like write stuff, and I'm like, remember, everything you write, you're incurring a maintenance debt.
Right.
I mean, it's.
Well, things are around for so short nowadays that maybe that maintenance period is getting short too.
Well, yes, I mean, you know, the ability to walk away from these things is important. Removing the Ruby Racer, it's going, guys, it's going.
Good.
Sorry,
I'm not keeping up with you here. I'm no coffee today.
No worries at all. No. I think I'm hoping we're kind of in the home straight here.
Yeah. And then one thing, also, if I could get you to tear down that develop box and put it back up, I think I screwed up the dependencies.
Okay, right.
Or I could just keep going. I mean, I could even get, you know, some regular thing going, but I wouldn't be able to hook it up to edX, though, would I?
No. And did we set up that? Did I even with the develop box? Did I connect it up?
Actually, not. You're right.
Yeah. I think I won't try and do that now, but I will do that, right? And it needs to be hooked up, and we'll probably need to, yeah. When we're next on together, we'll sort that out. Yeah. Okay. And so
Tuesday, is that going to be early enough?
For what?
For what your purposes? I mean, we would have to, in order for us to be able to test it, right? Would we need something like that? I mean, what we'll do is we'll develop or port, you know, the solution, and then just submit that.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what we're talking about at the moment.
Okay.
I mean, I think what we might have been talking about was being able to have an archive grader up there for people.
Oh, yeah.
Is that what we were talking about? Sorry, maybe
that would be nice. Yeah, but otherwise, yeah, I forgot we can just submit through this way.
I think this kind of has to be the default way in the first instance, just based on our available resources. In particular, I'm not going to be able to work on this tomorrow in the way that I was previously, because I'm now Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm doing stuff at Makers, so I'll be in the Atlantic Scrum tomorrow, but I probably can't spend a significant. Although interesting, I mean, there's overlap in terms of I need to be writing kind of scripts to deal with deploying Heroku and so on. But it seems like those changes that I've made there, removing the Ruby Racer and switching to debugger, have not prevented it from running on Heroku.
Okay.
Although who knows if there's a sequence effect. But so now if I do git push origin master, we should have those pulled up into the thing. Yeah. Oh, good. No. Ah! Yeah, okay. So now that, see what I mean? It's like if we encounter some other issue with this repo, right, or that needs changing, we can, and if the students have cloned it or whatever, forked it, we can basically be distributing updates to them through this mechanism, right? And so if it's a change and it can be merged in, and it means they don't have to like start the homework again from scratch with a new zip file, and they basically need to be learning how they're doing this distributed development with Git anyway. So, right. But so anyway, since the interface didn't change, it seems highly unlikely. It seems like I don't need to submit that again. Yeah. But what I think I can do, if even in a slightly forlorn fashion, is I can pull in these changes. I guess. So the Travis file.
I don't know if it's file by file in the pull request.
Anyway, we have these things. That's that. We've removed that. The gem file is automatically generated anyway.
Yeah.
We've added that. I haven't particularly added this, but anyway. But I think what I'm going to do is if we say for this, great work, notes.
Just pushed it over to the other repo, yeah.
So I guess what we have is an outstanding. So having done that, hopefully at least that brings down our quota of pull requests. Okay, and I also I locked down this one for that. So yeah, so that's and it says we can't automatically merge this pull request. Okay, we've updated this separately now in HTTP github.com/sourcebook/Rails intro. Comment. I want to close it and then close. Okay. All right. So I've taken a bit of a dent in. I've closed I've pulled in like 5 or 6 pull requests today.
Fantastic.
So that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, and I think we could kind of say to the beta starters people is okay. So we have an upgraded Rails intro skeleton here, and potentially I can, once I've run through all of this thing, I can look at the README for that. But yeah. Okay. But so I guess if we go and look at the graders, so we do have so these have been so these ones have now been deployed, haven't they? Binary multiple 4 should accept 0. Those have been deployed, and we didn't do that one.
There's quite a few actually that are already out there. Some may still say accept reject on them too.
I think these ones in principle, these are live. I haven't heard of large numbers of students complaining about them. They seem to be. So I think we can at least say that they're done.
People can always submit more bugs if they want.
Absolutely. And then, so I guess it seems like we've got a feature now here, which is to ensure that private HW repo is pulling in skeletons from public homework repos, e.g. This.
SAS book, yeah.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, yeah, I guess I would say, yeah, if you work on anything, maybe I should, maybe is that a chore, really? I guess it's a chore. I would say, yeah, I mean, if you've got any, like I said, you maybe just have another hour, or maybe less than that now.
Oh, sweet.
I would say, will it not let me pull it into here? Okay.
So if I go to the courseware and I submit, it's already set up, right? That's what you just did.
What are we talking about now?
Did you do the test submission?
Yeah, I did the test submission here.
Okay.
The courseware is oh, wait a sec. Okay. Yeah, I haven't. I mean,
student courseware.
I haven't necessarily gone and changed over.
I just submitted the old archive and got full credit in the test submission.
When you say the archive, because there's not an archive.
Or excuse me, the URL.
Yeah.
File. Yeah, the old one still is getting
Yeah.
full.
I mean, this one here, it's going to the Rev production there.
Right.
So I mean, that's something that I haven't double checked with. Oh, brain, go brain. I want SaaS book. Sign in AWS, Amazon.com. My account console. Get in there, sign in. I can't remember the name of the queue. EC2. 7 running instances. So the production grader is 169. No, let's have a look. edX grader stream production grader is Q2.
Student view. I mean, I don't know if you want to change it now, but
I think, yeah. Well, at least this should be run here and tested. That's on 2.1. This is not live yet, but the TAs might start seeing it, and better that they're testing against the grader that the students are also testing against.
right.
But so, oh my word! See, I just, and I want to. I don't know that Armando realizes how much has to go on in the background to make this all work.
Oh, get him in on it sometime.
He seems to be a bit pairing shy.
We're having champagne and strawberries.
Possibly. That's I think he also teaches other classes and he has a busy research thing as well. I think, but it's in some ways he can be dangerously detached from the details of it. I think he trusts me to a degree now, that if I'm, like, he was asking about, like, why are we making these separate repos, and I said, look, for these reasons, and yeah, okay, so that seems to be working, assuming that I hit view live, and that's how to submit, and that's it is that I just did view live on the thing, so
okay.
Yeah, but so yeah, if you've got time, then you could start working through the homework and trying to submit. Not even do all the homework, but some of it, and just see if you run into any issues or if that works. And the other thing I think to be thinking about is this, this issue of. It seems like, I don't know, because you become more of the expert in this than me. It seems like there's a relatively simple change that one could make to here that would just say, like, even in this step definition, that would say, right, I will do the checkout. I mean, I don't even know, like, if this install feature. Given I or install or check.
It's got its own problems right now, but yeah.
Okay. The install.
How it
this
wasn't
one here.
recursing, yeah.
Yeah, this thing here. Like, in principle, there's a relatively simple step that we can just add where it sort of it does this, right?
Yeah.
We do this, but for the public repos.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. I'm gonna run. Joseph. I mean, it must be very very late for you. Thank you for staying with us. I don't know if any of
Yes.
that any sense, but yeah, if you're free to hang around, Paul, that's great. And also do feel free to yeah, if you can play around with this, then that's great. Anyway, I'm gonna run. Thanks, guys.
All
Bye for
right.
now.
Bye.
Good luck with your op, Paul.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye. Thanks.
That was a lot of stuff, huh?
Yes. Oh,
So, but you saw him playing around with the configurator on the courseware.
yes. I feel much uh, much joy in the steps and the scenario.
Did you see the when he was putting in the queue name? I didn't. I don't know if it was on screen for very long. Okay, that passes good. But there's a little spot in one of that XML file that he was playing around with that he was editing. There's a spot for the queue,
Yes.
and you just put the name of the queue in there.
Yes. Yes.
How those queue names come to exist, I'm not 100% sure. So that's kind of like that's the end of our responsibility in, Autograders is we just turn everything over to edX. We run this client in a loop, get
Yeah.
the input, and then block and submit output.
Okay.
I think it blocks, yeah. It's not multi-threaded or anything. Oh. Yeah, I have a hard time getting my head around this way of working. Maybe it's because I'm old, but there's, now it's kind of depending on all these people that are the instructor or the TAs to do some
Yes.
testing on this, and then we're going to do a little bit, but otherwise, pretty much winging it. Not a whole bunch is documented as far as like the passing of the test, but so it's agile, man. That's pretty cool. We could put some of the homeworks out in public and just potentially leave the. Yeah, that is a problem. Lots of fun. How's your work going? You said you're real busy.
What busy?
Busy at work?
Oh yeah, yes, it's busy because our product seems to be delayed,
Oh
and
no.
everyone should work on it. There are still many bugs about not okay. Okay, we can say many, but it can be narrowed down to one problem.
Wow.
Yes. The a problem we cannot resolve, and which results in another many bugs. So we have to handle on this, and the bug is about the NAT
Translation.
translation. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, penetration. Yes, and then translation and penetration.
Uh-oh.
Yes,
That's
like
tough.
Skype.
Yeah.
Like Skype, right? Skype mechanism.
It's hard to It's a pretty big firewall, basically, right?
Yes. So, uh, yes. Even though I'm not the main role to solving the problem, but
Right.
I still feel hard workload, heavy workload on everyone.
Do you think your workarounds are going to work, or do you think you're going to have to go back and try to fix the original problem?
I think currently we are trying to go back to fix the original problem,
Gotcha.
and yes,
So you
if
need,
we can't, we find a workaround.
right? Well, at least today there are a lot of workarounds. There's a lot of hardware out there. And tons of software. Wow. Well, I should let you get to bed. I'm not feeling too
Okay,
enthusiastic right now myself.
okay, I have to go to bed too.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yes, stick on the SAS case, uh, and to try to resolve students' question, help the girls as I can. Yes.
Mostly get sleep though.
Okay. Okay.
Cool. Talk to you
So
later.
yes, see you tomorrow. Okay.
Most likely, yep.
Mm.
Bye.
Goodbye.